he must have a mind, and they must be having a mind. We can spark each other like, iron sharpens iron. So what we came and found here, fortunately, in all the discussions, it is a discussion that I had with the other young men. From home, in the morning I came with Ubuntu, there were some guys, and these guys were saying, but why don't we do something? Why? And a terrible discussion, to Makerere. As we were starting it, then we said, let's go to it. Because we were in that discussion. Then we came here, started off psychology, economic issues, psychology, and then we ended up in the same thing. But why? What can we do? What is the approach? And those are the questions. And when you talk about a think tank, I think it can address those issues. Because young men and women have questions really about the way forward.
Questions with answers.
Yeah, they have. And every time you meet them, that's what they talk about. Despite the number of them who don't want even to hear about politics. And you can go on Facebook and you find groups. And somebody says, who joined me on this group? I'm not interested. Yet even me sometimes who is interested, I find my phone being bombarded by messages which I'm not ready for. So, really, I don't know how you perceive it, but your device, you have been asking many questions yourself. Now the question is to you, what is to be for? How can we go about it? And how do you think we can succeed if we are to go into that event?
We start. But I don't know if you now caught this vibe for me. I am totally against violent involvement because so many people have died, and His Excellency the President Museveni controls all forces of violence, and these people will do anything to be violent because it is going to affect their wealth, which they acquired through ways we all know. Correct? We must approach the bull from behind. Yeah. Any engagement in the streets we will lose. And it's now becoming a FACA, it's like FARC.
It's a group that has been running stuff.
It's becoming it's like a circus now. And Macedon is that you need to do something, and you need to create that engagement at that level. You need to have Ugandans discussing about the future of Ugandans as if they own Uganda. And this only happens when we have these regular sessions where you invite various Ugandans to come and discuss with facts and figures without shouting at each other in a very civilized way. And we have this broadcast on YouTube and Facebook, very interesting, well-organized debates, correct? What I offer is a venue for discussion. What I offer is chairs for discussion. I'll even offer sodas for those discussions. My interest is to see a very well-moderated dialogue amongst border riders and women in the market and professors in the universities and doctors, talking about the potential of the country and what we can achieve and what we have and what we need and what we don't like and what we don't want. Correct? And then moving to from talk to an online presence through our own space. We have our own Facebook, we have our own website, then we have our own newsletter, and then it moves into a whole regular journal, so that we can be quoted as an authority on matters Uganda and even region. The same way they quote Boston Consulting Group, Chatham House. Right? Let's be quoted as those people who came here and decided to participate in our future in a more intellectual, more scientific, more dialectical manner. Those who say that Uganda can become first world by 2045 if we do three things. One, all roads must now be 2-lane, and there's data saying that the HIV menace is going to come back because of three things. One, evidence from that research with such kind of engagement. Engagement which will attract you to get that air ticket and go and address, a subcommittee of OECD, of AU, of UN. That kind of engagement that gives you the platform for you to start airing on your views and your ambitions. Something beyond going to the streets. Something beyond people come and tell you, do something, then they run back, and then you are left alone. Something big. I think you need to be catapulted to something bigger than Uganda for you to really help Uganda. A place where you cannot just be killed like that. Because otherwise they're going to harass you and oppress you. You must be big. Because power confronts power, conceals power, only listens to power. And I think that the think tank will give you a break from the traditional way of engaging the government. You will now be engaging at an intellectual level. Now they can't send you Tamale Merundi. They can't send you Funo Pondolo. Correct? They can't send you average people. They have now to send you their best. And that's the beginning of a serious discussion. When you engage with their best.
That's a way forward, but again, this one I will not hide from you. And I will not fear myself.
Okay.
I can assure you, point blank, that I will stop at nothing if I decide, except if I decide to go and become a farmer completely,
No, that you want to.
as I am,
That you want to be.
and write as I write. But when I write, and my books are confiscated all the time, because that is the platform. I went there publicly and stood and stepped forward. What happened, I now have tested it. 2, I have written, and I have tested the bitterness of my writings. And today, if I don't decide just to go either out of the country, go for further studies and do other things, and maybe I concentrate on my farming, I must be ready on everything that comes up. That comes as a consequence of either my writing or of my gathering. Because there are so many, I don't want to equate this forum with other forums that are gathering elsewhere. I have been in them, including the Pan-African Club. Every time I receive messages, they call me, I address them. They call me with Geno Tumwine. We're discussing. No one's really my radical. So those guys know my thought. And every time they try their level best, they call me to go there. The discussions go on, and the forums are there. But all the time they dilute. The regime dilutes these think tanks to the extent that you feel that you don't want to.
Think tanks. There is no think tank around.
They form them, but they
Which one?
But then the way they get to compromise.
Which one?
There is one which started
Think
within
tanks are
the
foundations legally registered with the Office of Research and Dissemination and Publication. Which one is a think tank registered in Uganda?
I'm forgetting its name, but it started at Makerere University
Legally registered.
with those boys.
I know the Pan-African thing.
Yeah, those
By Prince Samuel, gentleman from the West, right? Patrick Kasagama. It's one of the leading guys there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And another dark gentleman
There
talks
is,
very fast. Lot of energy.
Ngavirano guy. They are
Who is this guy
who
who's
started it in
go with the
Makerere.
canteen?
That guy I don't. Is he Oscar?
Think tanks are professional, institutionalized.
Yeah, those are the guys who.
Those are student.
Yeah, they had started one, and really the regime came in, and they became chaotic. There's the one which was the West Brians were planning to do an event register in my room.
Remember
when he came out, we made.
Of course, I know best.
We tried to make one, and also to come up with a newspaper.
You are in a program run by the German government called the Young Leaders Think Tank for Policy Alternatives, which actually was my idea sent to a friend of mine there who was actually running it, a German friend of mine. And in the process, when we were writing the policy for education and alternative policy, they told me not to quote successes in Cuba. Because those are not liberal economies, and the German government, which funds the embassy, will not want to be seen as using its funds to promote the ideologies of such economies. And I told him, this is a think tank, I should think they are what. And that was my last engagement with them. Brand Message is a member of that, including other very aggressive young people. And it just lets us know that the best of us have been taken up in their system. And their system is natural system. Either way, there is no organization today registered in Uganda as a think tank, conducting research and disseminating. None that I'm aware of.
Because of the intimidation, I think.
Not intimidation.
Why? Professional work is done.
It's just not there. It's not a level thing that's already present. People are still thinking NGOs. People are still thinking, let us fight Museveni. People are not thinking, let us support Ugandans. People think that the only way to come up is to point the face of the president, to insult the president. You think that the best way to help the people is to tell the king is naked, but that's not the point. That's not the point.
I believe that if the think tank is there, and let the fighters be there the way they are. And that's why I agree with you.
Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
This thing about fighting.
But they're not fighting stones and guns and other things. The activists themselves.
I understand. What's the relevance to us when you are dead, or maimed, or shot in the leg, or when they castrate you? What then is the relevance of your self?
I don't want to put that in my mind. It's poisonous completely.
The point now here is you want to play a smart game. It's now chess. As we said earlier, you want to show the lion you are coming. If you roar very loudly, you won't catch the antelope. It's about being smart. But you and I, we know that you have what it takes. You and I, we know that you are not ready to become president in the next election. Correct? You need to make sure you live to achieve your goal. Correct? Now the people will tell you, go, you are nowadays very weak, you used to be strong, go. When you're dead, they'll say, oh, Bam, be so sad, then they'll go and have sex.
Let me tell you this really, and it has been one of my characters, and I think about it, not that because that I don't think about it, but most of the things that I have gone where I have got the intended outcome and where I have not got the intended outcome, I have deafened my ears to certain things completely. And thinking up, I remember going to a certain war zone when I was a kid, and my father was telling me, don't go there, you are going to be killed. I defied, by the way. The next time I never even told him, and he looked for me for a year, couldn't get me. But I think I contributed to the liberation of that country. Because the moment you poison your mind by thinking about death, I know, I love my kids, by the way, and I love my wife. But then I also know.
Then I think we are going to have to come to an agreement.
Yeah.
We are going to have 3, 4, 5 wings of the movement. Yeah, we're going to have a wing that is for propaganda and disseminating information, purposely for political gain. We're going to have a wing that is actively involved in activism. And then we're going to have a wing that is engaged in policy and advice. And then later we'll have other wings as building, so that everyone's strength
And
is captured exactly for financing.
financing.
So that everyone is accepted and utilized at their strengths.
Sounds nice.
Yeah, that's great, because we need all those.
I think.
Yeah, and everyone
but,
will find a place.
I'm a team player, I'll agree. But as they say, the night is long and full of terror. The night is long and full of terror. We see leaders once in a very long time, like the blue moon. So when they come, we must, make sure that they last the season. Yeah. Make sure they last the season. So just make sure that when you die, your death also causes change.
Yeah,
Not immature
but
decision.
the thing is, nobody wants to be. It is better not to play matter. Like you said, that what will my death benefit me? Of course, we have seen many people
The
die.
question here is, what will your death benefit the Ugandans?
No, at first the question you asked me, I also think about it. That really, what will my death benefit me? What will it benefit my children?
I don't think it ever benefits the children.
Yes. Now, what the question is, what I put forward, what will it benefit Ugandans and Africa?
Exactly.
That's what I take.
That's an objective
That's the
question.
big picture I put somewhere in my mind, high there.
So right now,
I look at it.
a few years ago, some friends of mine were shot several times in the vehicle.
Yeah?
In the vehicle. 4 years now. And now I look back and they'd not started a political party, they'd not started a movement, they'd not created a color, it is one of those deaths, a close friends of mine, it's one of those deaths that were totally useless, totally useless. Very talented guys, very passionate, very loud, very gifted in speech. But I can't stop looking back and thinking we were moving too fast. I think it's good to make sure that we screw them to the grave. Yeah. And for that to happen, we must first be big before we die. I think that's very important. Personally, my goal always is, and as a business person, I want to do things which can be scaled. Things that can survive without me. When I'm running programs in schools, when I'm building my companies, I'm doing things which, I want to do things which are big. Because unless they're big, it makes no difference. I want it big. I want it big. I want it big. And not really unique, but big. Not really unique, but big. Because milk is just milk, but the people who make a few packets and sell, the people who make it in millions of cubic meters of gallons, and they have a name. Yes, fresh dairy. So I think it's got to be big. We start small, but we grow big. And for us to survive infancy, we need to be smart. Otherwise, we are going to be the most popular dead men around, which doesn't cut it. personally, I constantly think that the best gift I can do is to make sure that people go to the toilet because of me. Yeah. People, when they eat, they say, I mean, most of the time that I've eaten because of someone else. And I think to me that's the greatest gift you can give, the ability for them to take care of themselves. Yeah. So I think we are in agreement in principle that we are going to think, we meet with the other friends, we think of running a think tank, the first ever, constituted well, registered as a company limited by guarantee, not an NGO, conducting research, disseminating research findings, organizing fora, and discussing issues Uganda. Yeah.
Anyway.
And then as we open up the space and start learning with other people, then we start fixing other agenda, which is actually was our real agenda. Yeah, so give like Jews.
So we go with that. Then with
once we get enough space.
Yeah, we can.
Exactly. It's like people who are called to say thank you and then they start saying their own things because now they have the microphone. Before you get the microphone, you can't do anything. But once you have the microphone, you can also thank your other mother. I've also seen your mother there. Thank you.
So before you get it, you're not an authority.
Exactly. Let's get the microphone first.
I'm going to ask some question, which is very sensitive to me, that I usually think about time. You know, every plan has a goal, and it's like in this particular period of time, this is what can happen. Do you understand, based on assumption or estimate? Because that is sounds maybe not a theoretical or philosophical, but the timing, how would you visualize that?
It comes all to you. We are foot soldiers. Yeah.
Because the process of the think tank and getting running on the idea running and
it's very easy. You give it 1 week notice from today. We invite 20 friends who we think can engage at that level, not necessarily from the same political opinion. Yeah, we tell them we'd like to have a meeting to discuss. You start with the soft topics. Again, it's being smart. You know? We are discussing strategies for promoting youth employment in Uganda. We'd like you to come with some statistics from these sources, UBOs, UNBS. Make it a little different. Make them scratch their heads and share their idea. Imagine the colleagues are telling me, where do I get all this? Yeah, they know it's a little different. It's not like the normal discussions of NGOs. Yeah, and we send it to them. Some will come, some won't. Those who make it, run the event. You get in touch with a few, 2-3 friends of yours, tell them to cover the soda of the meeting. Get to 2-3 other friends and tell them to cover the snacks of the meeting. And you're good to go. You didn't work, you schedule another one. Didn't work, you schedule another one. You do that 7 times. Didn't work 7 times, it's not going to work. It will work the first time.
Let's first go with that. And
That's where is to start.
And why I say that I'm ready for anything. It's not that I want to be reckless or that I've made up my mind I'm going to die. But the issue is when you go for something, you might expect, have expectations of the best and worst. And in both scenarios, what are you going to do?
You're right.
Yeah.
And plus, what happens either way.
It's just a point of concern. Is it better than to expect the best and the worst? Is it? I find it like it would be better to expect the best, but prepare for the worst.
I look at my friends in Kenya, and some friend of mine the other day was talking to the UN. The other day was that the OECD. I don't hear any Ugandan who speaks at that level intellectually. you know, and I think that is high time that you started speaking in those fora. We have the G20 Youth Summit. Have you ever heard that? I haven't seen any share. Yeah, G20 Youth Summit. I've never heard that. You know, there's the diplomacy, OECD diplomacy think tank. I've never heard that. Every time you see any Ugandan speaking on any forum global, and they are bashing Museveni, it seems like beating Museveni is the key to everything. It opens much more doors if it could only put money in the public diaspora. I think we need to change the level of debate. You're already very quick-witted. You know how to pass your point without passing your point. And that is the point. Yeah, that's the point. So let them go and scratch their heads and think, hey, this guy, what do you think he meant? Do you think he meant this? Let them scratch their scalps. And as they're doing that, you're on your next trip to South Africa, correct? At the World Social Forum. And I'm thinking that you on TED Talk, giving another speech about Africa and the role of the youth. Then before they realize, you are coming and when you speak here, you're covered by BBC radio, you know. Before they realize, everyone wants to talk to them. And then before they realize, they're bigger than themselves. So it becomes a very well orchestrated move. Anyone who sees you doesn't know that you're going like that, but you're coming to sit here, they can't listen.
And there is a strategy towards that. Now, you are asking the question, why do you say them at the UN bashing Museveni? They are very individualistic.
Yeah, I think so.
However, if it was the people who are strategic and the people who think the way we think, like we are brought it up, that would open up, it opens up. So, if you are there, you start that way. It opens up the media and the national media, and the next time they just no, but where do these people belong to? A think tank. Then they call you on another forum, they hear another language, developmental language.
That's what you like.
Now from that developmental language, from here to there, creating a network until we reach the goal.
That's what you like.
So now, because let me tell you, in Uganda and internationally, the world is waiting to see what is going to happen to Museveni. That one I can tell you.
Actually, international community is much ready.
Because there is nothing much. That's why you come. So if you are very tricky and you begin it that way, play what they want to hear, but then later switch them to the think tank strategy that we are. And now we are trying to ground. Better, because what I realize, and I know this, you'll find, for me, I'm whatever happens to Uganda, but on something, I must receive a phone call from either Radio France or the Chivala, asking me about issues and what I think of Museveni. The world is waiting, what is going to happen to Museveni. And these people, when you see them bashing Museveni, don't think they are fools. Their only problem is one, that they leave it at that and they don't take it to another level. And when the world sees that these guys have gone nowhere, they leave them alone and wait, disappointed.
Until someone comes.
Until another person comes.
And they create someone.
And then they create someone.
They don't want to also interrupt their economic order.
Yeah.
They don't want to stop them taking the oil just because you can't get yourself a president.
That is it.
They'll come and fund a few commissions, it will fall down, and then they get you a general to be an interim leader. Right? So now that you also know what the world position would be, if things were to run like that, I mean, there are many things to look at. And it is politics. It's politics. But one thing which is for sure is that you must rise above the country for you to rule the country. And you must do that through your fora and meetings in Nairobi and Kigali, and and I think anyone who Museveni gives the work of bashing Museveni internally is already playing to his hands. And I think it's very good in that tactic also, diversionary politics, where when there's an issue here, he lights a fire there, you go and put it off. When you're done, he lights one there, so you're always like this NGOs. One is the marriage bill, when it's done, it's the sugar, when it's done, it's, by the time you're done, you're so tired and panting. And he's doing his own thing, so I guess King Solomon was right, it takes some wisdom.